Hey guys, EnFission here. I'll be going over how to set up a sorting system like I currently have. This room is essentially just a room covered in barrels, um, and it is I have items sorted through it using a router, which is behind this wall. I will get to that later. But essentially, how a router works is it will operate with any storage device that is connected to it. This also includes storage devices that are connected to the storage device that is connected to the router. So you could essentially have a giant daisy chain. I don't know of an actual limit to how much you can daisy chain this. I've seen videos where people have stretched out like 50 something furnaces and it'll operate all of them. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. Now, it's pretty simple how I have this set up. I just have all the barrels going around the room, and then in each corner I have a barrel at the bottom which just has some junk item that I will never ever actually put in a barrel. Now, the way that the sorting works is that if there is an empty barrel, it will fill that first. So if I were to have a barrel over here that was empty, and I were to put like this barrel is currently full, which is filled with stone. If I were to put stone into my sorting system, then the barrel over here would start to fill. Now, if I were to put this water shard into the sorting system and this was an empty barrel, it might go in that one or it might go in that one. It's kind of a toss-up at that point. But once it picks one, it'll start flip-flopping between the two. Okay, so on to the crafting packet. To make a crafting packet, you need 4 obsidian blocks, 1 in each corner, TNT on the sides, and then a block of diamond in the center. You need to turn 9 diamonds into a single block of diamond using a compressor, and that will give you a craft packet. So we take that out. Okay. Now this here is a craft packet stamper. So we go in the stamper, and we put that there, and there's a little explosion sound, and now we've got 18 diamond shards. So that's how you deal with a craft packet. From there on, it's the simple crafting recipes for the Wraith Igniter, so I won't go into further details. However, I will show you how to use the Wraith Igniter. So you place down some blocks of iron. Again, you have to use the compressor. So we take out the Wraith Igniter, and we just right-click. And we back up, because it lights it on fire. Now it's going to take a little while. You'll notice that the blocks of iron will obviously skip like that. They start to turn. And once they finish turning, the little effects will disappear, and then the ground will light on fire like that. So we'll just put that out, and we'll get the blocks of iron, or dark iron. So that's how you get dark iron, and then to get the dark iron ingots, you just put it in the crafting area, and there you go. So that's how you get the dark iron that is required for the router. The other ingredients is just the Eye of Ender, an Ender Pearl, and a chicken egg. So it's fairly simple. Now, like I said, I have all this stuff behind that wall. Well, this is how I get over there. Now, this is kind of a convoluted setup I have going here. The router is right here. As you can see, it is connected directly to the barrel wall. Now, I just have it set to insert into anywhere. You don't need any item filters or machine filters or anything like that, because that is the only type of storage that is connected to. It is connected to this wooden transport pipe and these pneumatic tubes over here. However, it cannot actually operate with those on its own, so we don't need to worry about that. I do, however, when you click on this button here, it cycles through your upgrades. I do, however, have a speed boost upgrade, so there is no delay between visiting machines, which means items get out of the router faster. And then I also have a bandwidth upgrade, which means it moves a stack at a time instead of one item individually. Again, increasing the speed of the router. And those are the only two upgrades I need. You don't need to really, if you do the same setup I do, you don't need to configure it to insert into barrels or into the north side, or, well, even with, okay, I'll just show you for the heck of it. So you can insert into various sides, and like if you look on the router, you'll see like there's a little color bar there. That little color bar indicates which direction it is, so that's west. That's not saying which direction it's going to put items out of the router, it's saying what direction it will put items into the storage device that it is using. This may seem unnecessary, but when you start working with certain machines, you'll learn that item input and output will only go into certain sides. So, that's for a different time. Okay, so now we've got some pneumatic piping here, which is connected to a filter. A filter will pull out a stack of items at a time from this ender chest, of which I have an ender pouch. So, anything that I put into the ender pouch, like the dark iron ingots, just gets sucked in and goes down the line into the... oh, it's already gone. Well, that just kind of shows you how fast it goes. And then connected to the router works on a redstone pulse. Now here I have red alloy wire. You don't need to use that, you can just pop some redstone on the ground and that'll do just the same job. But you have to have a timer. Now I'm not going to go over how to make a timer, it's fairly simple. But I have the time interval set to 0.7 of a second. The reason I did this is the shortest amount of time when dealing with servers. If I was running this on a local server, I could probably get away with setting at like 0.05, and that would work just fine. But since there is a server and there's lag, if I put it on any lower than 0.7, this will not work. Like, it won't do the little do. So that's the fastest that will pull out of the chest. Bear in mind that it is pulling a stack at a time, so it is still pretty fast. Now, unfortunately, there is a drawback to this setup, and that is that any item that I put in the ender chest and that goes into the router will send it through all of the try and send it through all the barrels. If I don't have a barrel available for that item, normally the item would just sit in this little slot right here, nothing would send into the router, and everything would come to a grinding halt. Thus, for this setup. Now, over here I have two redstone engines, some more red alloy wire connected to a toggle inverter. I don't think that's right. Toggle latch. Okay, toggle latch is what you need. And that toggle latch is then connected to a timer, and the timer is set to 4.65. That is the time that the redstone engines will pulse. So it pulses once, it waits a little bit, and then pulses again. Now those are being connected to a wooden transport pipe. A wooden transport pipe is what is required to pull items out of a machine, or out of storage. And that is going into a chest. I have a diamond chest just so it has a massive inventory. As you can see, I've been putting some items into the router that don't quite fit anywhere. Obviously I've run out of room in my stone barrel, so it's just been getting sent to this chest. Now, another slight drawback is that occasionally, when an item that will normally go into the wall goes into the router, this will just happen to pulse at the same time, and it will send 2 of those items because a redstone engine pulls 1 at a time, and there are 2 of them. So it will pull 2 items, and like in the case of this ferrous ore, it pulled it out of the router and into the chest. There is actually a burial available, but hence that little tiny drawback, so you will occasionally need to check this chest. But this is a necessary requirement to prevent the router from just simply getting clogged, because if you're out caving and you don't have an available barrel and you put items into the router won't do anything until you get back and can empty it out. Now, this thing is just chunk loader. This is the chunk loader from my base. This keeps this section of the map loaded continuously while the server is running. The purpose for this is I might not be in this chunk when I'm mining. Actually, I very likely won't be. So if I'm not here and I put stuff in the ender chest, it won't get processed if I'm not here. Hence the chunk loader. So I believe that is it for this video. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask me. So, thank you for listening. Goodbye.